Am I the astronaut if I just never travel with my mom again? Something must have gone awry. I, 48 female, am writing this on an international flight back from a trip with my mother, 71 female. We're returning from her first ever trip abroad, while I am an experienced traveler. We wanted to do this trip before COVID lockdown and had to cancel it, so she has been looking forward to it for years. But this may be the last one with her. As background, my childhood was emotionally neglectful, filled with manipulation and gaslighting. I essentially raised myself and had to learn the way of the world with patient romantic partners, friends, and therapists. Eventually, my mother and I found a balance in our relationship. I genuinely enjoy her at times, although she still drives me insane. She's needy, has zero accountability, and if you looked up weaponized incompetence in Wikipedia, you might find her picture under the heading. She has high anxiety and complains a lot. I can't rely on her for much if we are outside of her home or comfort zones, and she loves poking the bear. Now back to present day, we just spent 10 days in Italy. Since I've planned 90% of everything we've ever done together, even when I visited her, I told her that if she wants to go on this trip to a place I have already visited, she has to take the lead. I would help guide, but I'm not doing it all. Well, she did take the lead, and it was hell. It's hard to describe all the exhausting moments. In general, she acted like she didn't know how to do anything. How to connect to Wi-Fi, how to use GPS, call an Uber, what time we had to be anywhere, what city we were in, or where we were going the next day. Other issues include she had several tantrums yelling, "I don't want to do this," etc. when I asked her to figure out something, like where to go for dinner or how we were to get to the hotel from the train, etc. Whenever she needed anything, even ordering her own food, she turned to me to ask for her, like a scared toddler. She generally is unwilling to handle things and just wants to be catered to or spoon-fed. She has ulcerated colitis and can't eat a lot of things, including dairy, but still kept having gelato. And then she proceeded to have blowouts all night, every night. Our rooms were small and our beds were at most an inch apart. She'd let out noxious gas literally toward my face all night and laughed about it when I asked if she could at least point her ass away from me or do it in the bathroom. I hardly got any sleep, constantly woken up by her getting up and running to the bathroom or blowing me away in the next bed. When I asked her if her meds were working, she said, "I forgot I can't have dairy." So for the rest of the trip, I had to keep telling her not to eat this or that for both of our sakes, since she wasn't capable of avoiding these things on her own. She kept walking into me because of the crowds. When I asked her to stop it, she said, "I'd rather walk into you than a stranger." I asked her, "Can you just not walk into anyone?" "I'll try," she said while laughing. She even knocked me over a couple of times. She has a bad habit of just walking off for no reason. No idea where she's going. She just takes off in some random direction. I had to call her back a few times or she'd go into traffic or be too close to the trains. It was like having a toddler. When I tried to guide her, I had to explain everything like 4 to 5 times and she still didn't get it. I usually just give up and take over. Twice we almost missed a tour because she got the times wrong. We missed our original flight back to the US because she told the taxi the wrong airport. We, meaning she, had to buy us new flights. There were times when I wanted to step and take over the trip, but I was too exhausted. Also, just about every day I kept repeating the Dusty Thunder motto in my head: pain creates change. I figured if she screwed up enough, she might step up. I'm just at the point where I don't want to watch it in motion. She needs to experience the pain and the change on her own time. Here's where I feel a bit bad. My mother doesn't have anyone else to travel or do anything with. We live on opposite sides of California, and if she doesn't experience things with me, she doesn't at all. She has never had close friends, and her family won't join in unless she pays their way. My father is a cheap-ass buzzkill, and no one wants him around if you're trying to have a good time. And to just be more explicit, she's not independent and won't do things on her own. But it costs me a lot. Money, energy, sanity to travel with her. Plus, it triggers all of the childhood dynamics when I had to be my own parent as well as hers. So, am I the astronaut if I just never travel with my mom again? There's a lot of people who are saying in here that OP was being insensitive and trying to force the mom to be the mom that they wanted growing up. That's possible. The flip side of it is that I think OP has this mentality of like a role reversal. OP is being the parent in this, wanting to provide the experience for her, wanting to do something like that for her, but also trying to teach her a lesson along the way. I think the problem is at 71, How likely is that lesson to be received and retained? I know people can change at any point in life, but at 71, like I expect people to be pretty set in their ways. You know what I mean? I know a lot of sprightly 71-year-olds that are capable of learning anything new and changing behavior on a dime. But mom, if she already has these creature comforts where she likes her own space, she doesn't like to get out much, and she's not going to experience those things unless OP takes her and drives her to do it at her own cost and her own time and of her own energy. The additional cost with that is stuff like this. And I think that you're not an asshole for never traveling with her again. You were trying to do something nice. It ended up being too taxing. But I think some of what you're running up against here is that you're trying to parent her, but you're trying to parent her to change. And yes, pain creates change. I think it probably takes a lot more drastic pain to change at 71. And that change probably has to be more urgent as well, because she gets back from this trip and she's like, well, I don't have to change anything because I'm never doing that again. I think that may be the mentality there. It's like she's not latching on. She's not receptive to change because she seems like she's not the type of person that's awfully receptive to change in the first place. But this is also like a once in a lifetime thing. I think if you do something with her again, I think you have to just accept that she's not going to change, right? She is who she is. You're not going to make her into something different. You're not going to be able to train her to behave a different way. You're not going to be able to teach her new skills. Just try to enjoy the moments that you can. That's it. And I think at the end of the day, that's really what you want to do too, right? You want to be able to provide her with some experiences that you can both find enjoyment in. If trying to train her to do these things and force her to take the lead kills that, then don't do that. And if you're willing to take the lead and do the work so that you can have those enjoyable moments, you're both going to be a lot happier at the end of this thing. Now, you're well within your rights to never travel with her again. If you don't want to do all of the work, if you don't want to carry the load. But I think you have to identify what the main goal of this really was. What do you want? Identify that. And then think about, is it worth the cost?